User in your channel started recording.
Thanks, Bucks. Alright, guys, if we can keep chat cleared for a second while I go over some stuff. We'll have a few topics to cover. We expect about 30-minute long meeting, possibly at most. Alright, so I guess I'll start off with a welcome back, guys. I know it's been kind of a rough, rocky ride over this past week, but I'm really happy to see all you guys back here. We're really excited to get the server and community as a whole back in full force. As you
User in
guys
your
know,
channel
police
is
are an
recording.
essential part of that. So we're looking to get cops back up to where they were and in full functionality. So I will be covering some topics today that maybe kind of address those concerns. Starting off, there was mention of CERT. CERT is being delayed until we have the proper development and development foundation and SOPs and such to back it. I have some old SOPs that Big Brad had originally created for them. We're probably going to be using those as a placeholder once we get it running on the dev side of things. So for right now, we're leaving all cert tags off, and we're not gonna really worry about it until we've got a solid cop force to begin with. Everyone that's new, I just wanted to say welcome to the force. You're catching us at an interesting time, but also a really exciting time because we're kind of getting a fresh start here, guys. A lot of good people here, and a lot of people who are really driven to make this community everything it can be. I'll ask you guys later at the end of this, towards the end of this meeting, for some concerns that you currently have. I want to give the spotlight for a moment to Jiraiya. I think that, I mean, even if he doesn't have it, first of all, let me just say the devs have been super busy, so understand that we may not have any new content, or he may not even be working on anything cop side yet. But I wanted to give him a chance to talk about maybe what he wants to do, or what his plans are, or what he is gonna choose to work on in this, upcoming time that we continue to set up the server. So, Jiraiya, you had anything you wanted to talk about or not? That's fine.
For modded or unmodded?
I was going to stick to unmodded.
Unmodded, we're changing everything in general is just very overpowered. So we're gonna be changing and moving things around, changing some prices, overall with the whole entire weapons and clothing. We will be adding some new items as well as taking away some old items that were unnecessary. Someone came up to me and said rebels and cops should be equal, which I disagree with. Cops should have a little advantage, but not a huge advantage. Currently, the cops have a huge advantage over the rebels. So that will be being fixed, as well as we are going to retexture some vehicles, not all, because some just don't look good, and that's pretty much it for the unmodded server. Because I'm not.
Okay, cool.
Yep,
yeah, I got you.
Wait, just a question.
How
is it? Just give me a reason, like why you think the cops are more powerful than the rebels.
Here, I'll pull up a document right now. I'm gonna read some things to you, and
because this always becomes a debate, and
yeah, always does. I understand that too.
I'll give you the reason why I think the cops should still be overpowered, and because we always run head first into everything, and we always die. So the fact that our weapons are a lot less than rebels is good, and we should have more powerful weapons than the rebels. Granted, they should have different weapons than us, and weapons that give them an advantage, like maybe LMGs. I'm not saying as a fear, but maybe give them like a limb, which is a 5.56 version, or give them the SPAR 6 or SPAR 16S with the 100-round magazine, because that will give them an advantage over us. While we're reloading, they don't have to reload.
Here's my view.
You have 7K loadups as a cop.
Yeah, so my view on it, if you wanted to hear my opinion, was that our opportunity was with our, hopefully, I don't know, it's kind of a joke, but our great communications and such. We should be able to coordinate better attacks or better
User in your channel is recording.
To handling situations compared to a civ kind of rebel mishmash group. That's where our advantage comes in. I don't think it necessarily has to come in through bigger caliber weapons. A lot of the times people say, that's the solution, is bigger guns, bigger vehicles, and really, I mean, you guys should be acting as a team, and things like patrolling together and having quick response times will ultimately lead you into, winning, so to speak, these situations. I don't know, I mean, that's just my take on it.
User in your channel is recording.
Figure out how they want to balance things over time with your guys' feedback. So moving on, let's see. Second lieutenant skin, I guess that's part of development. Dry. If
User
you're willing
was
to work
moved out
on
of
a
your
super,
channel.
like simple change to the current first lieutenant skins, just to make it like that bronze color on the arm or whatever. You need to do. Second lieutenant.
User disconnected from your
skin,
channel.
But use the first lieutenant maybe as a template. Promotions, I'll cover those now, I guess. We have a few people written down. We wanted to move up a little bit because we need their leadership skills at the moment.
User in your
continue to
channel
set
is
this strong
recording.
Foundation for the police force. So we'll be doing the following promotions. I'll just go and write them in chat so everyone can see them and not worry about maybe mishearing things. Box will be moving to sergeant. New York is moving to second lieutenant.
User in your
Squishy
channel is recording.
is moving to corporal. Dark Horse is moving to SO.
User in your channel is recording.
Doa is moving to corporal. And then Casper, you're moving up to sergeant. Addison will discuss that after this meeting if you would really like to bring that up. Okay, so now from you guys, I would like to see some SOP suggestions. What I want you guys to do is, Beavers, if you wouldn't mind making a document, an editable document, you guys could please try to be as organized as possible and writing in some suggestions for SOPs. If somebody wants to help manage that document so that it doesn't get super A'd super quickly, that would be dope. We'll have you guys write down some possible suggestions or changes to our procedures that you guys can see as beneficial. Oh, I wanted to encourage, so we're having some kind of, it's a common topic, but I'd like to readdress it. I really need you guys to be the role models of RP out there on the server, because ultimately, you guys are the better half, and I need you to represent yourselves that way, and represent your fellow police officers that way, so to speak. You know, when you guys are out there, and we had an issue today with some cadets like being kind of ragey on the side chat. That can't be happening. Things such as, you know, let's just keep the RP really good and strong on our side, even though if it gets frustrating at sometimes, I understand that. But ultimately, you know, being the better person will help us look better, and people want to join the force as opposed to seeing it as a, you know, AIDS fest of guns and, you know, free shit. So
if you can't edit that, then I'm retarded. Hold on.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, it's an important
User in your
topic
channel is
regarding
recording.
RP. When you guys are driving, especially on like populated roads like Laporte and stuff like that, unless you guys are responding to an emergency situation, you should be following the speed limits. I don't want to hear about
User in your
any
channel
more,
is recording.
non-emergency situations resulting in accidents, and that results in, you know, cops getting in trouble, and it's just an unnecessary stress for us higher ups who are currently working on building the foundation. If you guys are responding to an emergency situation, you guys should be using your code 2s and code 3s. You know, lights and sirens if it needs to be, you know, in populated areas, that kind of thing. I don't want to see any more, you know, so-and-so is going 300 kilometers through Laporte and hit someone and now they're pissed. Because ultimately we end up hearing about it.
If you are going to speed, have your lights on.
Yes, please. I mean, really, there's no need to do it unless you're responding as quickly as possible. Flex, I mean, you're working on staff as well. There's a reason we don't really want to over encumber you. That's kind of why I'm not really moving you up as quickly as you might be expecting. It's kind of a Conway's thing too.
If people are complaining about ranks, they can go down a rank.
Yeah, honestly, let's just establish this now. If I hear any more like complaints about ranks, that's not like, you know, you guys gotta be constructive. I gotta hear
So
go ahead.
You can finish. No, you can finish.
Okay. I mean, to be constructive, if you say, hey man, like, there's a difference obviously between saying, you know, WTF, I didn't get promoted, and saying, hey, I've been working my ass off, I feel like I'm not getting noticed, you know, can we work something out? That's different. What I don't want, though, is to be pulled aside every 5 minutes saying, hey, I totally deserve sergeant, and, I mean, obviously I won't take you seriously. So if you can put together a well-founded argument of why I should be promoting you, and I'm not, that's fine. But I don't want to hear about asking about ranks, because ultimately I'm just going to end up demoting you, and you can sit down at an even lower rank. Let's just get that in our heads now because I mean, I'm tired of seeing it, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, and don't poke me about it, asking when can I do this, when can I do this, because I want to be promoted. When can I do this?
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing as essentially begging for your rank. There's right ways to go about it, and there's wrong ways, and pestering and bragging and bitching is not the way to get promoted.
I also mentioned it last meeting. It was a staff meeting. Your staff Lux. I'm hoping you heard it and anybody told you about it. I mentioned I don't want you guys coming towards us asking us why they weren't promoted and why this person was promoted. If you have an issue with the promotion, you can wait after the meeting and you can talk to either me, Royal, or Knock, or Risky, which is the other captain, and we can tell you why you weren't promoted. And you can ask for advice. You don't need to come here and say, "Oh, I've been a corporate for 3 months, or I've been waiting for sergeants for a long time." You know, we don't care. That's why you haven't been promoted, because you complain. We don't want that here.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's just what it boils down to. I'll take this chance now to let Cherokee maybe talk about anything else you wanted to cover. I've covered all my topics I wanted to mention.
I'll be honest with you, man. I've been busy. I've been having a lot of personal stuff.
Understood.
Coming up. Something came up a few days ago, and I've been dealing with it lately. So
Yeah, not a problem.
apart that, I've been hopping on and off, seeing what's going on, but every time I hop on, it's either
not a
really late or
problem.
really early.
Not a problem. Real life comes first, guys. So, that being said, LOAs, I think we're gonna need to open up another LOA forum section. I don't know if we have it. I'll ask Nano to maybe we're looking to making another section for LOAs. That way, if you guys something does come up or whatever, and you want to keep us in the loop, you can do that. I'll leave it for I'll leave it to open forum towards the end. Brad, if you wanted to mention anything, Second Lieutenant, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I was on Civ today, and I don't know what happened, but we got open fired on. I don't know where it states in the SOP that you can just automatically open fire on somebody because of something that happened, unless they physically threaten your life or it's a death situation. Where deadly force is authorized to use, you do not open fire. And we got shot at by like 5 or 6 cops, and our car was Swiss cheese by the end of it.
Yeah, let me. That's something else I need to bring up. Your superiors are obviously should be your role models, right? But if you know something they're doing wrong, you are not entitled to making a stand poor decision. If you see them open fire on someone, you should be like, don't question them, but bring it to someone higher up and say, hey, I saw this from so and so, and I didn't, or whatever. Like, just you don't necessarily have to shoot because someone else is shooting, etc. That kind of thing. So let's keep that in mind. That while we're all a group, at the same time, we have to keep, in mind our own morals and our own focuses on SOPs and such. At this point, I think I want to allow. Let me ask New York if you had anything to say now that you're in this position.
No, sir.
Okay. Let's see. Just gonna go over here.
Work the chain. Don't go straight to Royal asking Royal questions as a captain. There's no reason you should ask Royal a question if you can go to a second or a first lieutenant and ask them a question.
Yeah,
if
please
it's
just
that important, then you need to work the chain. But we can skip if it needs to happen, but try going to second lieutenants first and then coming to first, and then let us take it to captains if need be. There's no reason they should answer every single question.
That being said, that means it's on you higher ups to make sure that information is being passed on to someone who else is going to pass it on, so that that chain of command is an effective means of communication. Otherwise, it's pointless. I think now I want to go ahead and take some suggestions. Did we get that link up for SOP suggestions?
Yes, I did fix it.
Okay, if you guys want to go ahead and make sure, if you have anything to say about it, go ahead and put it on there as a suggestion. We'll move into PD suggestions as in general, as a whole. So if you guys have any PD suggestions, can you put raise hand in your name or whatever so I can see that you're wanting to speak, and I'll let you just talk about it instead of typing it up in the chat. Okay, box. Just keep your guys' hands up. I'll just go down the line.
So like shooting at vehicles, even if they're not code red, but you engage them outside of the vehicle and then they hop in a vehicle and they just drive off. Like shoot at their tires, but not necessarily at them. But if you do shoot it and you kill them, then that is on you.
I'm gonna say,
as of right now, like every situation I've gotten into like that, I'm chasing this dude, like 100 meters away from my car, and he just hops in his car and just drives off, and I have to run back. And by the time I get back in my car, he's already 3 kilometers down the road.
So you're suggesting that we allow you to shoot out tires?
Yeah, tires only if you engage them outside the car,
So
and then they
let me
hop
tell
in.
you, the issue with that and how it leads to a lot of RDM cases is that when we're using like the larger caliber guns, like the wheel well just happens to be right about where the driver's seat is. So sometimes people just, I mean, even if you're hitting the wheels, it'll somehow kill somebody in the front seat. So, I mean, honestly, I'd rather see you guys. I mean, I won't even lie. I straight up promoted people because I've seen some sweet ass like not checkpoints, spike strip setups. If you guys want to stand out, like that's one way of doing it. Like I've seen people say, hey, they're headed southbound on MSR towards such and such town. Can we get a spike strip? And if you're the first person to get there and put that spike strip up, that is really like a kick-ass tactic that I really like to see, because that's utilization of tools that we're given specifically as police department that make us unique. So I'd really like to see that instead of shooting out tires. Honestly, I would say, like, unless it's code red and they've shot you and then got in the car or whatever, go for it. Because at that point there's still a threat to you. Let's see what else. Regarding code red, we'll just clarify in the SOPs. Keep watching the SOPs for changes. I think I'm not sure if we're making a whole new one or if we're just editing this one.
I'm changing the format, but it looks
Okay.
similar.
I mean, it'll be
information.
similar. We'll just go more in depth on some things. We really need to stress the whole code red thing, to make it super clear so no one's confused. Something that people don't seem to know. Don't seem to know regarding code reds. If the person that suspect or whatever you want to call them, if they're putting the public in harm, that's also considered code red. So if you're saying if they're shooting at someone else or whatever, like there's no fault in you taking down the threat and trying to preserve the life of others. I mean, that's just basic duties. That doesn't mean go spraying everybody that's got a gun out, but it means watch for that stuff. We'll go on to whoever was raising their hand next. Define insanity. Go ahead and speak.
Okay, so as a civ and also in support, I've noticed that there's been a lot of cops not valuing their life. Because there's been times where I've seen cops surrounded by 4 people and they want to pull out a gun and just start tasing people.
Yeah,
And
I mean
yeah.
that will just result honestly in just removal of the police force, and that just shows that you're not able to RP as you're expected and represent the better half of the server. There'll be zero tolerance for that. I know it sucks getting robbed, but I mean, like we say, the kits are so cheap anyway. Why even bother, right? I mean, let that person have their bit of fun before you go, And there is a rule, I believe, in the server still where you have to have a valid RP reason. So go through with it and report them if there's absolutely no reason for it, but don't contribute to the AIDS by just pulling a gun and spraying people. This isn't Wasteland, so. Let's see who we got next. Casper, go ahead and speak.
Thank you. I wanted to ask permission to ask 2 questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one would be about TACCOMs. Can we clarify something that since we don't have a basic SOP now, because it's like you said, our communication
User disconnected from your
top
channel.
par.
Yeah, I'll actually write that down. We'll go over that in SOP so it's super clear in what we're expecting out of that. Second.
And then the other thing would be, do we have any plans for FTOs and police trainings? Because I think those would be very helpful, as a lot of people
Well,
aren't.
it's a big project to tackle, I think, but we definitely are going to focus on that, having a really smooth process for sure promotions such as cadet to PO. We'd like to have obviously a training program.
I get to bring back my test.
I mean, I really want to stay away from tests.
Damn.
Because I would rather get that connection formed rather than just hand them a piece of paper and saying, do this. I might even have one for PO to SO. I'm not sure yet. I just know, guys, that beyond SO, there's not going to be any sort of can I take a test or train something? It's going to be more about what do I see out of you that makes you worthy of corporal or makes you worthy of sergeant.
Speak.
Go ahead, Casper.
I was meaning on more optional trainings for cops that want to get promoted. They can go into these optional trainings and learn more combat procedures and roleplay procedures to do things more efficiently.
I actually wanted to talk to Little Brad about that. Brad, I know you might have some interest in doing that and helping get some tactics down. I know Cherokee does it too, but Cherokee's mentioned that he's going to be pretty busy, or that he has been, so I don't want to slap anything on top of him. There's a number of people that I know would like to. I think Rush would probably be willing to participate in that. and forming together like some sort of tactics thing. We'll see. We'll get some more options. I'll take some suggestions for potential trainings. I know things like pilot. We'll get that back. Hopefully, things like maybe advanced weapons again. We'll see. Conway's trainings. Yes, I wanted to cover that. I think we're gonna be bringing back discipline, but not super full force. Obviously,
User
if anybody knows
disconnected from your
before,
channel.
Conway's trainings are pretty hardcore, pretty rough, kind of abusive. So we're gonna stay away from that nature of it. But things like zero tolerance for dicking around, things like performing the best that you can, and we might do some like
User left your
I don't
channel.
wanna waste you guys'
Disconnected
time
from
in
your
those
channel.
trainings.
User
So
in
we'll
your
stay away from
channel
things
is
like crash
recording.
snaps and whatnot, but there is some things that we can work on, like maybe understanding ranks and calling people by their, or addressing people by their correct titles and stuff like that. We may be able to go over. So we will discuss. I'll discuss that with Brad maybe later and see if he wants to set up some sort of advanced weapons thing. Okay, we'll go ahead and let Flex speak.
All right, sweet. I want to talk about. So, I'm not gonna mention any officer in particular, but there was an officer earlier that said, I quote, "I don't want to roll with these autistic kids anymore." End quote. I don't care if it's just dicking around or whatever. Joke about that in game. No, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna give the
I'll
name.
just
It
let
was a
something
cadet.
serious.
It was a random cadet. It wasn't serious. I talked to Brad about it earlier, but it's just in general. Don't do it.
Yeah,
No,
if
it's
that's
not
serious,
yeah,
bring it to us.
if
We'll
I
take
come
care of it.
across that, I mean, again, it's just another like either you're gonna lose the stripe or you're gonna lose your place entirely. Like zero tolerance. I need you guys to be working together and having respect for each other, because
Yeah.
like I said, this is a
there's a time
community
and a
at the
place
heart
for
of
that.
it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys are in your own little channels or whatever, like that's whatever. It's between you guys. But when we're trying to be, a team or whatever here and have fun on this server, it's gonna be I need you guys to be respectful and stuff like that. So
Can I
I'll mention that as a
also-
concern. 1 second. Something else I wanted to talk about.
User
quick, someone
left your
brought
channel.
up. Your higher ups
User in your channel is recording.
deserve your respect. This is the only case where I say in life that, like, I mean, at least anybody who has real life experience with that, people who are, whether it be military or police, whatever. A higher rank is that, like, you don't need to earn their respect. They kind of demand it. Now, if someone's acting out of line or something, that's something you need to confront somebody about, fine. But if somebody is your superior, you should be treating them with respect. You should be obeying their orders. I wanted to rehash for anybody that's new. If you get an order that's misinformed or if it's against the rules or whatever, obey it first and then tell somebody about it. That way you're not breaking that, chain of command and that functionality. So please treat your superiors with respect, treat them seriously, and, if they tell you to do something, do it. That kind of thing. I mean, like I said, like if it goes to a certain extent, obviously, like use common sense, but respect your superiors, obviously.
If you get banned for that, then
you wouldn't
it's,
get banned
it's on
for
your
that
superior.
because it's on your superior. Yeah, if you get told already to someone, I'm not encouraging that, but the person who issued that command is gonna end up getting banned. So, moving on. Pitting, don't do it. Period. Just because it's basically just use gramming. Use spike strips. Pull out in front of people. That's fine, but don't.
So
use
here's an instance here that I'm dealing with right now in PD. These kids, there's 2 helicopters constantly buzzing the PD. One actually landed in PD. I fired warning shots. Now I'm taking fire inside the police station. Warning shots are not initiation, in my book. It's never been initiation in any server I've been in.
Let me write that
Their
down.
names
We'll
are
see if
banned
we can
right
get
now.
something to cover that.
Warning shots are not initiation.
And if
Unless you
they
hit
were to
'em.
kill me, that's RDM. But if they consistently buzz after you gave them a couple of warning shots, by all means take them out, because if you've already gave them what's called a warning shot, now you can take them out.
Follow through, yeah. Don't abuse that. Like, for fuck's sake, I get really tired of seeing helicopters fly past the city and get shot at by the cops. Like, it becomes obvious if they're actually becoming a problem. Box, I'll come back up to you after I keep moving down the line. I'm gonna allow.
By the way, I'm sorry, Royal, but
Go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if you mentioned the Beavers or Brad, whoever was talking. I just came back and I heard it. about the warning shots. I talked to this. Hold on. I talked about it with somebody. I think it was Brad. Um, and this is the way I do it. And it's within the rules because you're not actually hitting them. If you're gonna warning shot heli because you can't actually message him and you don't know who's flying it, you can always shoot warning shots if he's still flying over PD and not listening. You can shoot down the heli, but you can't hit him. As long as you don't physically hit the person flying the helicopter and kill him, you're fine. You can shoot down the heli, like shoot the engine out or shoot the rotor out. You're not hitting them. It's not RDM. If you hit them though, that's RDM and you can get reported for that.
Yeah. Moving down the line, looks like. Go ahead, Nano.
If you shoot out their engine, is that initiation?
So there's a lot of people who say it is, and a lot of people who say it isn't. The way I like to look at it is if you're shooting at me and you're hitting my vehicle, and you're hitting my helicopter, then yes, warning shots. You could probably hear that if you snap it around them. If you're hitting their helicopter, then you could expect getting shot at. I won't ban somebody if they shoot someone who's shooting directly at their helicopter. That's just my opinion. There isn't an actual rule on it, so it's really a gray area when it comes down to it.
Warning shots are not initiation. I'll put it in the rules right now.
Well, yeah,
right. Hold on, Beavers. Hold on. Relax. So, warning shots, right? What is warning shots for you? It could be shooting around it, or it could be directly shooting at the helicopter. Right. If you hit if you hit the vehicle, you could expect getting shot back. I would personally kill you, if you do that.
I mean,
don't write it.
It's tough to make that a rule because everyone could just start saying, "Oh, well, I was giving him warning shots. I wasn't trying to shoot him." Like,
well, so... but if you look at the guy who got shot at video and it clearly sees that his vehicle was getting hit, then that's on the other guy. He should have known better.
Put it in the rules, but make it safe only for cops because civs are going to use that to their advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at who else? R Mills, go ahead and speak a second.
So one thing that I have two quick questions, but one thing I've been noticing is I don't play Civ much, but I was trying to play Civ the other day and I had a Tempest and it happened 4 times in one night. I was consecutively pulled over for veering to the side of the road for a little bit, and I would get a 40K ticket plus a impound for reckless driving for going to the side, not really even crossing over the road, just nitpicking for the smallest things. If I turn a corner and your car accidentally goes into the corner of the other side of the road.
Do you have the name of this guy?
At discretion, I'm gonna call that
but,
corruption because if they're ticketing for every time that ends, just so you guys are aware, corruption is immediate removal.
The same person did it twice in one night.
Cool. We can talk afterwards, Mills, and that's also exploiting of the police money system. The fact that you can give tickets.
Yeah, we can talk about it later. And then another quick question that I wanted to bring up real quickly is that you were talking about earlier, contacting you about promotions and stuff like that. How would you go about doing that without
this is the way I don't mind.
User in your channel is recording.
Or you know what I mean? I don't want to I'd like to do that, but I try as much not to.
Well, listen, man. Promotions they're done every now and then, right? Royal did this. He did this meeting and he promoted a few people. Right? He promoted people he felt like they were ready and felt they deserved the rank. So let's make in this case. I'm not sure if you got promoted or if you did or you didn't. Let's say you didn't get promoted, right? You want to get promoted. Now you talk to Royal, you message him, hey, can we speak? And you ask for, or can I have some feedback on what can I do to improve to get the rank of a senior officer?
Yeah.
I don't mind if you come to me asking, hey, look, I want to improve. What can I do? What do you want to see from me, or what do you not like from me? Feedback, personal feedback, advice, right? I don't mind that. Right. Now, when you're coming to me saying I've been a PO for months and this person shouldn't have gotten it, that would have an issue. And now you can expect me not to promote you for another month for saying that.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and let Ober speak. Ober, we're covered a few topics, but I bet if you bring it up, I can tell you if you've covered it or not. Because I know you want to be a part of this as a lieutenant. So.
Well, it's just good to be here. Just been having a nice family day, and I hope you guys are having a nice day as well. I don't really have anything to add.
Okay, no problems.
I
want to say that higher command is an open door policy, you guys. Don't ever feel like you can't come to us and talk about something within reason. It's just you got some problems with somebody or whatever. Come to us first, and we'll organize a discussion between the two of you guys or whatever to solve anything that may come up with certain problems. yeah, I mean, always just feel free to talk to us about stuff if you're having issues, rather than just freaking out and leaving or whatever. And we had an issue with the cadet today, Tyler or whatever. You know, that's a prime example of why you shouldn't just bottle things up and get pissed. So, gonna go ahead and let Clue Jackson speak at this point.
Oh, hello. I have two questions. The first question I have is, are we ever going to get badge numbers? Because I'm one of those people who I've told multiple people, I come from multiple different communities and we used different codes. And the only way I really know how to announce, it's just my instincts, how I announce myself. I'll say, like, I just think it'd be easier if people could, announce themselves as their badge. Like, for example, 2S3 is now responding 1076 to your 1020 or something like that. And I just feel like it's easier.
Yeah, so the issue with badge
User left your channel.
is that they quickly become a horrible nightmare to take care of. Modded, I wouldn't have an issue with. I understand that there's a bit of more of a, I wouldn't say like a stronger RP focus, but there's definitely more formalities in modded. So I wouldn't mind that, but just trying to maintain a long list of people with different numbers, it gets really annoying to take care of. We end up with duplicates and stuff when people aren't keeping up on them. So, I mean, I would say for unmodded, perhaps not. So, something else I wanted to bring up, in the previous same named community, there was a really heavy lean towards realism on police forces. I'm gonna say, like, I don't discredit anybody's real life experiences with police. I don't discredit anything that they do for us, on any scale. But ultimately, this is a game, and this is a community where we all want to have fun. And making it tough titties, real life, I mean, it's just, it gets a bit old, so to speak. There's some things that can apply and transfer to a video game in a community that we're organized, but some things are just really unnecessary and too drawn out to really create, because there's not really a purpose for them aside from reality. So keep that in mind.
Okay. No, the only other thing was I had about it. So, like, am I allowed to do it? Because, like, I was getting yelled at by higher ups, and they were saying that, like, not even, it wasn't just always higher ups, it was newbies, like the cadets too. They were saying, they were like laughing at me about it and stuff. Like, it's just I come from a lot of modded servers,
yeah, I understand.
so it's like an instinct, It's like
no worries, Flex. Yeah, I understand. I'm just gonna say that for organization's sake and formality's sake,
User
just go leave it off
disconnected
for
from
now.
your channel.
And modded, there'd probably be an option to have that. Alright, okay, we'll go back up to Cameroon. Go ahead and speak.
Say what?
Did you want to speak? You're raising your big dick.
Now I'm just raising it, that's it.
Okay, alright.
I'll hold it.
Let's see what's anything else I wanted to go over. But I mean, there's really not much else I think I want to discuss at this point. My
got one
focus.
thing.
Okay.
Something that was just brought up to me.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you can. I'll say it afterwards.
Okay. My big focus this next coming week is going to be to, again, just keep building this foundation that we have. So we have, that strong beginning. The sooner I can get that done, the sooner we can move on to things. Like, I really have a burning desire to have, like an undercover way to do things, that can be deployed. It won't be like everyone running around as undercover, but I really want to see an undercover unit that can be deployable by higher ups, for certain investigations. And I really want to see. I do want to see SWAT/CERT, but like I said, that's gonna require a lot of. It's gotta have a strong foundation, you guys. So, I mean, yeah. Look ahead for that. But
undercover
keep
would
in
be
mind.
nice.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good to go, Cherokee.
No, I was just adding on. I've got a lot of good ideas with undercover, and they could be deployed for bait car. You can do undercover for bait cars. You can undercover for different things.
I don't think we're gonna have different departments, because that gets really easy really quickly.
You don't have to. You could just have it.
No, not. I'm still. Someone was mentioned DTU and DOC.
Oh yeah.
DOC. We tried DOC, guys. Ask Bogus. He was the warden, and it just gets like, I don't know.
Bogus.
It just gets sticky. Yeah, ask Bogus. It gets sticky.
Not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Not everybody is up for
shout
sitting
out
at
to
a jail
Bogus for running that. I mean, it was really well done for what we had. But it it just kind of gets hard to manage.
I mean, it was fun for the first
more
hours.
Fun in the modded server.
Yeah, potential. There's a potential. Yeah, it became AIDS real fast. There's potential for it in the modded server. We'll see how things go.
What I want to say is, somebody just brought it up to me, is people are using help channel to, or civilians are, or cops are looking at help channel to respond to cases. For example, if a civilian's restrained and he says, "Hey, I'm restrained here," or I'm being kidnapped here through help channel. Guys, ignore help channel. I only use 911 to respond.
That really should only be like technical help, like how do I do this or what's.
No, help channel is for like people who don't know, for staff to respond, or for you to help the community who need any questions, and not for people to metagame.
That still fell RP because
they're tied
comms is taken.
No, but okay, think about it this way: somebody's restrained. There is a reason you can't message 911 if you're restrained, because you're restrained. You're not supposed to be access to your phone. Now, if you're messaging help channel, if you want to say roleplay, then technically, let's say that's Twitter, you should have your phone for that. It's the same thing as calling 911. So no, don't look at that. It is metagaming, and I'll if I look at something like that and I see solid evidence, say somebody was typing in chat saying, "Hey, I'm being kidnapped over here" or whatever, and you're responding to that, and it's a solid case, and you'll probably get banned for it. It's pretty simple. It's metagaming. Definition of metagaming.
Question.
So, yeah, what's up, man?
Just on a staff point of view for this thing, if we see someone doing that in like help chat, can we like give them a kick?
You can respond in help chat for those who have access. I'm not sure if admins or moderators have access to battle matchers to do this. I know I do. I'm not sure if it's you need a certain level for that, but you can global chat name, or you could like type in global, like not like mass message everybody where it says on the middle of the screen. Like you could type in chat when you're out of the server, and if you look and you see people doing that, you can tell them, "Hey, look, stop doing that." If they keep doing it, then you can kick them. Don't kick them because it could be in an active scenario.
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to cover. I'm not sure now. I mean, yeah, if you guys have any other remaining questions or, make sure you put those SOP suggestions on that document, like I said. I want to try to make these a regular thing to keep checking with you guys. We'll see if Hard Knock wants to get on some of these as well.
We could make a forum post about it. Have a post where people can post their suggestions and their things they would like to see.
I'll probably post some notes of this meeting on the forum somewhere too. So we'll put that together with Box's recording, and we'll have a good way to reference this.
Somebody just asked about FTO.
It's under development. Like I said, we gotta get a good foundation before we can start getting the separate kind of programs and stuff. So we're working on that main building block right now.
So we could go along what we had back then. If I'm not sure, Royal, you had FTO because I saw you with the tag earlier.
I have no idea, honestly.
We could head. I know people like Beavers. Oh yeah, there he is. He obviously will love to take it on. If he wants to if he wants to start his own foundation of FTOs or do what I was doing with the old server, it's completely up to him. As long as it works and it gets the job done, it's fine.
I guess while I got 32 people here, I wanted to plug this kind of shamelessly. This is up as a way to help grow the community. Not my PayPal. If you guys want to participate in that, please do. Because the more people that we can bring into the server, the better. And the more fun it's going to be for everybody. So if you guys have a friend or two you can bring in or whatever, you can participate in this contest. Maybe get a chance at some fat bucks and a tag in TeamSpeak. 250k lol. We'll figure something else out. Maybe we'll get. I mean, that's more after like the tag and the support for the server. But if you want money too, we'll figure it out. Just know there's a reward for the person who brings in the most. We'll go for that. With that, I do want to say I'm really glad you guys are all back. I'm excited to get this
User
police
left
force
your
going again,
channel.
man, and look forward to some fun times, guys. Please keep the RP.
User in
solid.
your channel is recording.
Aside from that, I think you guys can all be dismissed, and you guys can have a great one.